Hi, my name is Joshua Korn, and this is the video for my term project for F14 at Carnegie Mellon University, fall 2014 semester. The name of my project is the Perfect Produce Picker, and essentially what it is a database location and creation system that allows you to identify items that you have stored in a database based on some of its attributes without having to use keyboard input at all. It's called a produce picker because in my case I have a database with information on fruits and vegetables. However, you are in no need obligated to only use this for produce. You can actually add whatever items you want to the database and identify those instead, or along with the fruits, doesn't even matter. I do this using the leap motion and OpenCV. I use the leap motion to control the entire interface with your finger, and then as you'll see in a few moments, I also use leap motion to actually write out the first few letters of the item that you're trying to identify. And then I use OpenCV to take a look at that item and get some color information from it. And between the two, we can tell you what item you have. So moving into the program, the first thing you see is this tutorial screen. So the leap, especially if you haven't used it before, it's a bit finicky in terms of its sight range. So basically what this is a little interface that tells you when your finger's at a pretty good location and it can track it. So in this case, the deeper green, the better you are. And the arrows tell you kind of where to move your finger to get into a better location. We're pretty good, so let's enter the main menu here. So this is just a radial menu. I'm just moving my finger around. As I press in towards the screen while hovering over an item, you can see that it gets darker. It's like tactile feedback for a button. But now before we go into scan, let me just run you down on what we're doing. So in the database, I have red, green, and yellow apples, and in front of me, I have a couple apples. So we're going to be scanning them. So in scan, the first thing I ask you to do is write out the first few letters of the item. In this case, we're going to write out the first few letters of apple, right? So let's go. First, we're just going to write out our A. I'm going to swipe to the right, and then we're going to write out our P. Now, if you mess up, you can clear. So in this case, it registered as an F. That's no problem. I kind of had a little tail on the end of it, and it does register lower cases as well. So to be honest, it looked more like a lowercase f than a P. That's no problem. All I have to do is just redo it. And I'll identify that as P, and we're good to go. Now I'm going to hold the apple to the screen here, and it's going to identify it as a green apple, which is cool because that happened to be what it was. Now, in the case that it was wrong, which could happen, I mean, computers are wrong too, don't worry. I have to do a swipe to the side, and it gives you the second closest item based on the input that you gave it. So in this case, these are all things that start with AP, but this would be the second closest to the RGB values that it was able to get from what I showed it to show the camera. So that's all cool and dandy, got on the first try. Now let's go to scan. Let's identify another apple. I also happen to have a red apple near me. So let's do that just to show you that it can actually identify different kinds of apples. Ooh, that's a beautiful P, look at that. Gonna hold this guy up, right to the camera. And look at that, a red apple. So I still did AP for both of them, but just by holding it, it can tell the difference in color and give us what item we have. It's quite accurate. Now, once again, in case it was wrong, or the next closest one it would be is a green apple, and all we do is simply swipe to the side to get to that. All fine and dandy. Now, I have tons of things loaded. I have mangoes, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to show you anymore. Sorry. Next cool thing I want to show you is browse. So let's go to browse. Browse is what you would think it is. It's basically a way to browse your entire database. So it's an alphabetical order based on your main item, which is capitalized. So it's apples first, and then within that, it alphabetically orders it based on the subclass name or the color name, right? So it's apple first, and then it's green, red, yellow. Makes sense. And then you can just swipe through all the ones you have. And the text color, oops, sorry, I exited there. The text color is the color of the item, which is pretty cool. And you can go through the back here. But let's go to here and type in our general name item. So if we just want to find everything that starts with an A, we click that, and now we just get a list of 4 things: asparagus, apple. Cool, cool, cool. If we just now narrow that to apple, here are our apples. If we want peppers, this happens in real time, so it's really fast. Same thing here. If we just want to search for all the things that are red, we get red apples, grapes, and peppers. Pretty cool stuff. That's really our browse function. But if we look here, we have limes, and we actually do have lemons. So what if we wanted something else that wasn't here? Like, what's a cool item? Let's see. Pineapple. I love pineapple, right? So let's go and download a picture of a pineapple. Now keep in mind, if this is like using it for grocery, you're probably not gonna have it sliced open. So you might want a picture of the outside of it, right? Ooh, where am I going here? Interpretation of dreams. Wow. So I'm just gonna save this image. And it doesn't really matter where you save it, so I'm just gonna name this just to show you that this works. I'm just gonna give it the most random name. Save that to my downloads here, right? Now, just to make sure, just to prove to you guys, there is no pineapple here, right? So let's go back to our main menu and let's go to add. So, oops, sorry, let's just pull up code and everything right back here. Cool. So now let's go to our add function. So now what you can do, we want to do pineapple, right? Now we can add like purple pineapple, red pineapple, but in this case, first you want to spell pineapple, right? But in this case, we just have one pineapple, that's fine. Now let's load the image. So I had that in downloads, and remember I gave it that crazy name. I think it's that. Yeah, it was that. Gave it a crazy name, right? Doesn't even matter. Look at this. Item added, swipe to the side. And now let's go back to our main menu, go to browse, and pineapple, there it is. Now it's like a greenish brownish color, which makes sense because of the leaves and the dark color. And that's it. It automatically adds it to the database, instantly gets the color information. That's it. And it actually if you were to go, I won't show you, but if you were to go to the location where it stores all of the photos for the program, it actually completely renames it. Perfect. And in the case that you add another pineapple item, but you don't give it a subclass and you just do pineapple, it'll automatically add that and not overwrite it, so you can actually have multiple samples to increase the likelihood of you finding an item. So if you want to do that to increase accuracy, you can add like 10 different red apples. You can go nuts. One last thing I want to show you before we go is an add. If you don't have an image you want to load, let's say you just want to put me in here. Yay! I don't have an image of me on my computer. I guess some people might have an image of themselves. If they want to do that, that's cool. But I don't. So I'm just going to go to continue. And it pops up the camera. And here I am. And that's my item picture. So if I were to add myself to the database, that's what would pop up instead of whatever image I downloaded online. Unfortunately, I'm going to keep to the kind of whole spirit of my project and stick to fruits, so I'm not going to put me in here, although it's arguable whether I'm like a pineapple head or something. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's getting late. I'm tired. I'm sure you guys had enough. I'm done here, but I hope you enjoyed my project, and I guess you can let me know if there's something you wanted to see, but I really hope you enjoy this, and thank you so much for watching.